Hey there, I'm Fox 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith with next weather as we look at what's ahead in the forecast for the Gulf Coast. And tonight we've got some evening storms around. Tomorrow, more scattered afternoon storms, but a little lower chance. And then drier days are ahead as we head into the all-important weekend. Futurecast modeling shows real active weather through the area until around 10 p.m. tonight. We should wake up to better conditions tomorrow morning. We may get one or two coastal showers and storms, and then the activity will fire again tomorrow afternoon, starting around lunchtime right along the I-10 corridor and advancing some to the north after that. Rain chance 50% on your Thursday. Long range models show that Friday we still could have some scattered storms in the picture, and into the weekend we go on Saturday with again slightly drier air in our area, perhaps a little lower rain chance there, and definitely seeing that on Sunday. So our tropical weather outlook. Good news, always watching. Now we're getting these outlooks starting in mid-May, and we'll get them every day, and they run out 7 days, and no tropical cyclones are expected in the next 7 days. Looks good out there now. That's normal for mid-May. Water temperatures are just starting to heat up. Our Futurecast modeling again for tomorrow shows the scattered showers and storms showing up well along the I-10 corridor. Checking Friday's chances here. This is a little different model than the one I showed you earlier, but again, it does show some scattered thunderstorm activity on Friday afternoon and evening. At the beach tomorrow, we will see a low risk of rip currents, which is good. UV index is high, just dodging showers and storms, and water temperatures in the upper 70s. The rip current risk will stay relatively low through Friday and into Saturday. Taking a look at the next 24 hours, our temperatures in the upper 60s through the early morning hours. Then we get into the afternoon. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s by the afternoon. So that's what we're tracking there in our forecast. And over the next 4 days, our rain chances do drop some as we finish out the week and head into the weekend. Temperatures will stay above average for daytime highs. A little improvement there for our overnight lows. Coming up next here on Fox 10, meteorologist Jennifer Lambers explains the Storm Prediction Center's weather outlooks. What does a marginal risk or slight risk for severe weather mean? She'll have a report. Plus, I'll take the look at dangers of heat as we approach the summer season. That's coming up.
Can I play? Sure, but you need to bring your own truck. That's not a problem.
The Fox 10 Storm Tracker Fleet, taking you live to more places, covering the Gulf Coast like no one else can. Unrivaled experience, unparalleled severe weather coverage.
I think I need a bigger sandbox.
Well, we had that marginal risk for severe weather in our area today. And for more information on these risk zones and what they mean, here's meteorologist Jennifer Lambers.
You may have heard us talk about it before on the Gulf Coast, but the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, a very useful tool that gives us outlooks on when we could potentially expect strong to severe storms. But let's go ahead and talk more about what exactly the SPC is. Well, they're a division of the National Weather Service based in Norman, Oklahoma, and they monitor hazardous weather that occurs all across the U.S. Now, they release outlook maps, and these could go out 8 days, but we typically focus on days 1 through 3 ahead of potential severe weather, plus also watches and warnings. Now, they give us risk zones that are 1 through 5 for threats of tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, lightning, plus also wildfires and potential winter weather. Now, let's talk more about those risk zones. We've said these before on Fox 10, but the most common one that we see is marginal risk zones. Now, what they are is that it's possible for severe storms, either limited in organization or also longevity, plus also low coverage. So that's why we see these so often, especially during the summertime months here across the Gulf Coast. But then we move on to that slight risk. That's when things become a bit more common, and what we're seeing with those storms could be some more organized severe storms, but not as widespread. After that, we move up to the enhanced risk zone, that 3 out of 5. Now, this just means that we have a greater chance to see more coverage of those strong to severe storms, expecting more of those, and then we go up. These are the ones that become a bit more uncommon, plus also rare with that pink coloration, that high risk. Now, the moderate moderate risk means that there's still widespread coverage possible, but we could see several tornadoes or also just more severe thunderstorms. That's why it's so important whenever we have these moderate or these high risks to stay weather aware. And that high risk, this one is rare. This is not something that you want to see across the Gulf Coast, because this is when we could see very strong, long-lived tornadoes, multiple storms that are beginning to push through, plus also hurricane force winds in some of those storms. This is only issued if there is high confidence for widespread coverage of severe weather in some of those storms. So that's why it's more rare to see some of those. Now, also focusing on watches versus warnings. The SPC will give us these watches that they put out, whether that be for severe thunderstorms or also tornado warnings. Now, again, that watch is going to be the risk of hazardous weather if the ingredients are all there. That's when it's important to place a plan. But also those warnings, that's going to be our local National Weather Service office that issues those. So just a bit of differences there. Again, this is all under the National Weather Service, but a lot of different offices to pay attention to. As always, throughout the season, we're going to keep you updated right here on Fox 10 as we make our way into the rest of the summer months, plus also our secondary severe weather season. Just make sure you stay weather aware. Reporting in studio, meteorologist Jennifer Lambers, Fox 10 News.
And looking at the other thing we've been dealing with here besides the potential of severe weather this week, on Monday we had record highs, and there's some unique things about this. Number one, Mobile only 1 degree away from a record but hitting 95. Pensacola tying a record, and this is about 10 degrees above normal. And unfortunately, we saw our first heat-related death of the year in Mobile earlier this week. So what do we need to know about the potential of having heat exhaustion? What is that versus heat stroke? These are things to keep in mind as we head into the summer season. So heat exhaustion can be prevented from becoming full-fledged heat stroke. These are the symptoms of both of these things, so you can be aware of it. If you're feeling faint or dizzy, that's more likely to be heat exhaustion. If you've got a throbbing headache, that could be the much more serious heat stroke. If you're sweating a lot, that's heat exhaustion, but if you stop sweating, that is heat stroke, a sign of extreme danger. When you have heat exhaustion, that means your skin starts to get clammy and it's cool and pale. If it turns red or hot or even dry, that's likely heat stroke. You can have nausea or vomiting with either symptom set. And looking at it here, your pulse gets weak with heat exhaustion. You can have a very, very strong, rapid pulse with heat stroke. And finally, you start cramping up with heat exhaustion, but you may lose consciousness in heat stroke. So heat exhaustion can come first. It can skip right ahead to heat stroke, but you usually get the symptoms of heat exhaustion first as a warning sign. And if you're under heat exhaustion and you're seeing these symptoms, you want to get to a cool, air-conditioned place, drink water, and take a cool shower and use a cold compress. If you think you or someone else is exhibiting the signs of heat stroke, call 911. So that's what we're seeing there. Hopefully you will be safe all summer. I'll be back here in just a few minutes here with your extended forecast.
New to the Fox 10 weather app, your 24-hour radar forecast. Be the first to see how precipitation is going to affect your plants across the Gulf Coast. Detailed hour by hour, the 24-hour radar forecast on the Fox 10 weather app. Plus the latest breaking news with the Fox 10 News app.
Got him both.
Stay alert with Fox 10. Prime time is Fox 10 time.
The latest on the night's top stories are first on Fox 10 News at 9.
Wrap up your day, informed and ready for the morning.
The summertime pattern. Here's your 10-day, and I want to show you what we're thinking long range. Rain chances drop some as we head towards the weekend and become more isolated through early next week. Scattered storms resume midweek next week. Temperatures for highs will be in the mid to upper 80s. Overnight lows will be in the upper 60s as we head into the tail end of the week. Saturday's rain chance looks isolated about 10 days out, but what we're really seeing here is a continuation of a pre-summer type pattern. Not a lot of changes there. Mostly afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10.